In this video, we're going to be looking at how I operate as a music director and 3 tips to help you along to remember what it means to be an effective music director. Coming up.
One more time.
Salutations, my name is Justin and I am a worship leader from Singapore. If this is your first time stumbling across my channel, I'm all about worship guitar, and if you like what you see, do consider subscribing. It will really help me out. In the last video, you saw how I operated as a music director behind the scenes, and you got to hear what I hear in my in-ear monitors. That is the click, the cues, the whole band, hearing the vocals, as well as me giving instructions to the band as a music director during the Sunday service. I believe that as a music director, you need to provide 3 things. You need to provide direction, you need to provide correction, and then last but not least, you need to provide encouragement. So 3 things: direction, correction, and encouragement. So direction, what is that all about? Now, as the music director, everyone on the team is looking to you to be the first port of call as to how the song is arranged. You are the master arranger. You are the one with the creative decisions as to how the song will go. So that just means you need to know your song very, very well. You need to know it 200% sure. You need to know every part that every musician is playing. You need to know how the drums and bass are supporting one another. You need to know whether the electric guitar is supposed to be driving a part or whether it's supposed to be laying back. You need to know whether the keyboard has a particular kind of sound. Is it a synth lead that's got a bit of a sawtooth wave, or is it more like a gentle pad?
Keys. Slowly build. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No. Dun, 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 dun. The piano, the dun, dun.
Verse 2, 3,
How
4.
da, da, da. Shall we try again? Hey, my click is not to quarters, it's to eighths. Yeah.
Intro.
Keys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Break every chain.
Is it possible to leave a gap here?
Yeah, can.
Yeah. So that means after we play finish, I will probably come back to the chorus. Yeah.
I see.
Sorry.
Break every chain, break every chain, break every chain.
2,
Break every chain.
3,
Break every chain. No. Break every chain.
2, 3,
Keep it here.
4.
Chorus.
2, 3, 4.
And we pray, Lord, that as we look to you, that God, you will come and we will encounter you today, Lord.
Stand by.
We look to you, Lord. We look to
Intro.
Jesus, the name
Keys.
above every other
Together.
name.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It can be very daunting at first, but after a while, you will get a hang for how each instrument uniquely contributes to the sound of the band. And then once you learn a bit of the niche and how each of these instruments, the particular nuances, the particular sounds they produce, the particular rhythm effect that they have on the rest of the band, I think that once you get a hang for the kind of simple vocabulary, you're going to be able to communicate this quite easily to your band. So what are some of the things that you need to provide direction for during the live set? Well, you should be calling out specific parts. So if a keyboard is playing a line or guitarist is playing a line, I would say keyboard line or piano line. Or
Interlude.
Piano line.
2, 3, 4. Verse. Drums. 3, 4.
of ages, step down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame.
Chorus.
Let's build it a little bit.
3.
The cross has spoken, I am forgiven.
Sorry.
The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful.
You should also be reminding your team as to what's coming up in the next section of the song. Sometimes the vocalists are so into singing their part that they forget that there's going to be an extra tag, or they forget that they need to octave up.
Has no hope.
Get ready. Remember, there's a tagger.
Build.
Jesus, yours is the victory.
Okay, go for the whoa. One more time. Whoa.
Bridge. All in.
Hallelujah. Praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah.
Short little reminders that help the band to have a visual roadmap in their mind and be very clear as to where they're going in the song.
Jesus Christ,
2.
my living hope.
Let it drag out. Let it drag.
Verse.
Yes, you
2.
take it over.
3. 4.
The morning that sealed the promise, your buried body began to breathe out of the silence. The roaring lion declared the grave has no hold on.
Verse.
Let's go.
Build.
Pick it up.
3.
In your name, Jesus Christ,
Tag.
my living hope.
1 on 3.
Jesus Christ, my living
6.
hope.
1 on
Jesus Christ, my living
2 to 1.
hope.
Just play here. Linger here a bit.
The second thing that you need to provide as a music director is correction. Now, I know some people might not agree with me 100% on this, but I think that as a music director on stage, especially during the live execution of the song, it is your responsibility to help the band be the best that they can. If something goes wrong on stage, you have to be the one to step in and to help the band avoid the mistake or to correct that ongoing mistake. The chief culprit is rhythm and timing. Unless your musicians are pros and work in the studio a lot, they're not going to have much experience with playing with a metronome and sticking to it 100% from start to finish. Typically, you're going to have people who rush the metronome. The one thing that I found helpful to correct the tempo and to get everyone back on track is to count out aloud into the music director microphone. Somehow counting out aloud helps people align back from rushing the metronome or lagging the metronome. I don't know why counting out aloud helps. Maybe some of you psychologists or ethnomusicologists can help to answer the question, why does counting out aloud help with the metronome? It just does.
His grace as boundless as his love.
4, 1, 2. Don't rush. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Get ready. 4, 1.
All in. 2, 3, 4.
His has trampled death and grave.
So aside from tempo correction, there are times where the musician is playing something a bit off or something goes wrong with that particular instrument, and if they're not aware of it, it's my job as the music director to step in and to help with that situation. So for example, my bass player did not know that his low E string was out of tune, so I had to step in and I had to inform him that this situation was happening, avoid the low E string, play with higher strings instead.
There is no other name.
Okay, your bass go to full groove.
Jesus Christ, our God. Oh,
1, 2, 3.
Jesus Christ, my living hope. God, you are my
Big.
living hope.
Don't rumble, don't rumble. Let it fade. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2. March, don't slow down. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's good. 4.
Pre-chorus. 2, 3, 4.
The last thing that you need to provide as a music director, I personally feel, is encouragement. Now, I don't see this being done very often in other IEM mix videos, but I think that as a music director, if you're calling out corrections, you must also balance that out by calling out encouragements. And when something is done right, when something is executed well, if the drummer does a perfect roll, or the bass player does a perfect riff, or if the keyboard player does a very nice line or a very nice fill in somewhere that I didn't plan for, I wasn't expecting that, and being very pleasantly surprised, I won't just keep silent. I will voice it out. I will say, good job, that sounded nice, great, and keep it short and sweet, because you're playing and serving at the same time too. Now, this is not being condescending, or this is not being sarcastic. This is being genuine. You have to really mean it when you encourage your team members.
Jesus Christ, our God.
Verse.
Breakdown.
3, 4.
When all
Very nice.
the world seems lost, there is no other name. There is no other name. Jesus Christ, our God. Oh,
Breakdown. 3, 4.
Very nice.
So that's it from me. In conclusion, the 3 tips to becoming an effective music director is to provide direction, to provide correction, and to provide encouragement. And I believe that if you do these things well, in balance with one another, you're going to find yourself that the job is actually quite fun, and that the whole band learns and grows together as a team. If you have any questions, queries, or comments, please post them in the comment box below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As always, thank you for watching. This is Justin signing off.
Okay, put it down.